From here, go ahead and find a comfortable position to begin. That may be laying down, it might be seated. We will start our movement seated. So if you would like to already begin, find something that is supported, stable, and really grounding. If you've got any blocks, props, bolsters, use them to really support yourself here. So I'm covering for the lovely Uma today. So I'm really grateful to be able to share and hold this space for you all. So it's lovely to see all of your faces. Wherever you are, take a few moments to really settle in. So feel free to move, adjust, settle. Welcome to anyone that's joined that I haven't yet seen. When you are ready, begin to close down your eyes. As you allow yourself to come into this space that you have created for yourself. And begin to become aware of how you are feeling here and now. Noticing the quality of your breath without change, without judgment. Noticing the quality of your thoughts, perhaps a little chaotic, perhaps there's already calm. Just acknowledging and sitting with everything that is with you today. Now just becoming aware of how the body is feeling this morning. Knowing what you may be working with. And just start to breathe in a way that feels organic to you. Simply finding a state of awareness. Feel free to place your hands wherever is comfortable, maybe to track the breath at the belly and the chest, or maybe resting in your lap, finding a closed loop with the fingers or the thumbs. And using each breath in and out to connect you and ground you. I read a beautiful post yesterday of 4 mantras, which we're going to focus on throughout class. And if one particularly resonates with you, feel free to come back to that. So the 4 mantras today that I think are really beautiful. I am on the path that is right for me. I am grateful for this moment and everything it offers me. I give myself permission to embrace all sides of me. Nobody is me, and that is my superpower. So we'll come back to those throughout the class. We'll nourish our body full of love and self-compassion this morning. Go ahead and bring both hands up towards your heart space, left side of the chest. And take a long breath in here, fill up. Open the mouth, exhale. A couple more like that, giving yourself permission to embrace every part of you. And finding gratitude for the space you've created to practice. Find one more of those big, beautiful breaths in. and out. If you are laying down, begin to make your way up to a comfortable seat. And if you are seated, you may like to swap your legs over if you've got them crossed, or maybe just readjust. And from here, we're going to give the shoulders a little roll, bring some movement into the head, the neck, and the jaw. And as we continue to bring more movement into the body, bring more awareness into how the body and breath respond here. I'm going to go ahead and take our left palm and cradle the back of our skull. Right fingertips will come beside us like an eggshell grip. As we take a breath in, lead your left elbow behind you, open up through the left side of the chest. As we take a long breath out, draw left elbow across the body towards the right elbow crease, creating space all around the left shoulder blade area. Breath in as you inhale, open it up. Breath out, draw it across, feel that space and expansion across the back of the heart. Another breath in, use your fingertips to lever you up and lift. From there, reach the left arm up and extend it as we straighten, good. And then now start to reach it over the right side. Find a side bend here, but try to anchor your left hip back down towards the mat. If the right elbow is available or forearm, go for it. But focus on the rotation now of your right side of the ribs up towards the ceiling. Take another breath here, inhale. As you exhale, re-lift up, left fingertips replace now down to the left side. Right hand comes behind the skull. Long breath in as we open right elbow and chest. As you exhale, draw it across the body. Inhale, expand and lift. Exhale, draw. Inhale, we lift. And from there, we extend and straighten the right arm. Now start to take that over the left side. Right hip finds a bit more of an anchor. Shift the left hand or forearm to where it feels comfortable. Start to spin left rib cage up a little bit more and create that space almost in between each rib on your right side. One more breath in and out as you lift up. And give the shoulders another little roll. And then if you're on any props or bolsters, go ahead and remove those now. And we'll come into Balasana, child's pose. Feel free to take the knees nice and wide. I don't think the dog is joining me this morning, so I'm going to move her bed out of the way. And from child's pose, just start to bring some movement into the hips, into the body. And we're going to begin to warm up the wrists and the spine. So we're going to take a little flow here. So we'll take a breath in as the palms ground and we lift and shift forward. Now lift the palms off the mat, the fingers stay on the mat. So we're stretching into the front tops of the fingers. As we exhale, we lower the palms, we take it back to child's pose. Two more like that. Inhale, shift forward, palms lift off. Exhale, hips lower. One more, inhale. Palms lift. Exhale, shift back. From here, inhale, we lift and shift forward. Our hands walk a fraction further forward. And now our hips begin to gently lower down to the mat. So a really gentle and supported back bend here, but starting to roll over, alternating thighs. If this is still a little too much, I want you to come a lot lower, maybe onto the belly. But knees and hips are on the mat. And from here, find center, push all the way back, child's pose. One breath in. Stay for the exhale. This time, inhale, shift forward, our hips lower down to the mat. That supported up dog again. And as we exhale, we send the hips back to child's pose. One more there. Inhale. Supported up dog as the hips lower, the chest gently bows forward. And then push back to child's pose as you exhale. Good. From here, I want you to come towards a tabletop and begin to stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Right palm will now find the back of our skull, we'll cradle there, and turn your right elbow so it faces down towards the mat. Now this movement is quite subtle. We're not shifting the hips and we're not bringing the elbow any further than, as you can see here, so in line with the back of my skull. So everyone should have their elbow out now. Take a breath in. As you exhale, draw the elbow back down towards the mat. Very subtle movement. Inhale, elbow opens. We'll create more expansion in the spine soon. Exhale, close. Good. Hips and trunk are steady. This time as we inhale, open the elbow, start to rotate the spine and the chest up. As you exhale, right elbow draws down, maybe connects to the left elbow crease. Inhale, expand, right elbow lifts. Good. This time, right arm now extends straight, lift it up towards the ceiling. Good. Start to now step your left toes back as you straighten your left leg. And now thread right arm underneath the left. Thread the needle, right ear comes down towards the mat. If you need to bring your left knee back in, please do, or maybe just lower it. Left arm can extend here if you want to create a little bit more space around that left rib cage, or maybe a half bind. Take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Start to creep the left fingertips back towards you. As you inhale, right arm comes all the way up towards the ceiling. We reach and replace. Right arm comes back down towards the mat. Bring your left knee back in to meet the right. From here, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Bring movement into the body as you explore perhaps this pose for the first time today. And finding awareness here, how the body is responding to movement and how the breath is supporting and nourishing you here. And knowing that you are on the path that is right for you. And using that mantra to modify as you need to today. When you are ready, find stillness. Take a collective breath, inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. Inhale, we'll shift forward, plank pose. Pause here just for a breath. Begin to squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Can your heels stack over the balls of your feet? Allow your knees to lower down towards the mat. Find tabletop once again. Left hand now cradles the back of your skull. A subtle movement to begin. Open your left elbow out. It's in line with your hand. Take a breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Left elbow points down towards the mat. Inhale as we open, the trunk and hips stay steady. Exhale, close. Inhale, open left elbow, start to now rotate the spine, maybe shift your right leg if you need. And then close it off as you exhale, left elbow, right elbow crease. Inhale, open and expand left arm and elbow. Now straighten left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Good. Start to extend your right leg and toes long. Now thread the needle, left arm underneath the right, left ear comes towards the mat. Maybe the right knee needs to lower to support. Right arm either extends or take your half bind. From here, take another breath in. and out. Right hand starts to walk back towards you. Press the mat away as you inhale, lead and lift left arm towards the ceiling. Replace it back down to meet the right. Send the right knee back in to meet your left. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. And this time, just moving into your comfortable down dog shape. Starting to press out through the finger pads, the knuckles, and this little C grip position in between your first finger and your thumb. Really pressing out of the heels of the hands to lift out of your shoulders, find length up the back of the spine. And keeping your knees as bent as you need to find the elevation of the hips towards the ceiling. Take a breath here, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we're going to shift forward into plank pose. And our up dog variation today will be that our toes always stay as they are in this position on the mat. To begin, we'll lower our knees down towards the floor and then our hips lower down. So we're in this supported up dog, knees and toes on the mat, or toes tucked as I've got them. Now, option here is to lift your knees. So we're in up dog, we're just not on the tops of the feet. Good. If that's a bit much for the low back, knees stay lowered. And then from there, we start to send the hips back. We bend the knees, downward facing dog. Take a breath there, inhale. And begin to tiptoe your way towards the hands. When you arrive, take a ragdoll, bend the knees a little or a lot, either grabbing the elbows or the back of your skull. And begin to find and explore some movement here. Maybe some rotation in the spine as the hands walk to alternating sides. And here, more than ever, giving yourself permission to embrace and explore all sides and all parts of you. Taking a breath in and out. Ground the heels into the mat, slowly rise up to standing. Arms lift and cradle the back of the skull as you arrive. I might have chopped my head off. From here, start to take a side bend to your left, leading with your left elbow. Right elbow lifts to the ceiling. One breath there in. As you exhale, lead with the heels, straighten up. And then take it over towards the right side now. Right elbow lowers, left elbow lifts, good. And then slowly lead with your heels, lift up. Release the hands, bend the knees, fold all the way down towards the mat. As you arrive, walk the hands up the legs, halfway lift, inhale. Fingertips land as you exhale. Step your left foot back, lower your left knee down. As we inhale, we're coming up into a half kneeling. So a little bit shorter than our Anjaneyasana. And I want to really focus on the front of our hip flexors today. So I want you to find this neutral position. Left hip over the knee, right knee over your ankle. And start to really pay attention to what's going on here in this left quad. It should be really active. And now starting to ground your right heel down into the mat. And can you switch your right glute on? Maybe give it a feel, make sure it's coming to the party. And from here, start to contain this low belly as the front ribs draw back a little. Start to walk right foot forward so that the foot is now no longer stacked under the knee. And keeping all of this containment and keeping really active in the front of this left quad, we'll interlace our fingers above our right knee. We'll take a breath in, lean forward as we feel this beautiful deep stretch in the front of the left hip. And we'll exhale, lift back up, half straighten of that leg. Good. Inhale, come forward. Try to resist the urge of coming into this deep back bend in the low back. Keep all of this really contained. One more. Inhale, come forward. And from there, our left hand will lower down towards the mat. Right hand will now cradle the back of our skull. Yeah, good. Option, if you would like to lift your left knee as we take these movements, you can take it more active, otherwise keep it lowered. As we take an inhale, ground your right foot, but lift your right elbow, open the chest. As we exhale, right elbow towards left elbow crease. Good. Inhale, lift, right elbow, maybe the left knee, right glute on. Exhale, right elbow to left elbow crease. One more like that. Long breath, inhale, open and expand. Exhale, draw it back down. And starting to bring both hands now on the inside of your right foot, just opening up your right foot onto the blade edge. Right knee spins out a little, bringing some movement into your right hip, maybe shifting the weight forward and back, maybe playing with a straightening and bending of your front leg. And from here, return both palms on the mat, tuck left toes, lift back knee, step back, plank pose. Either lowering the knees or just lowering the hips towards our up dog variation. Take it slow. And then press through the palms, lead with the hips, core on as the knees and hips go back, down dog. One breath there as you arrive. Inhale. Exhale. Tiptoe your way towards the hands. When you arrive, a more active forward fold now. The knees can totally still be bent, but start to really focus on the heels drawing down into the mat so that the calves and hamstrings are engaged. Take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, walk the hands up the legs, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fingertips touch the mat, knees bend. Step your right foot back, this time lower right knee. We'll lift up to our half kneeling position and really honing in your awareness and attention to your front quad, your back quad. And can you again find this neutral position of your low back and pelvis? Left glute should be on, start to engage left heel into the mat. Now walking left foot forward. Good. Hands interlace above the left knee, keeping this contained and active. As we inhale, we lean the weight forward. As we exhale, we come back, little straightening of that front leg. Inhale, come forward, feel this beautiful expansion in the front of your right hip. Exhale, come back. One more, inhale. From there, right hand will lower, left hand will cradle the back of your skull. If your wrists get a little bit uncomfortable with this, coming onto your fists will help, or fingertips. As we inhale, left foot plants, but left elbow lifts. Left glute should be on here. As we exhale, left elbow, right elbow crease. Option to tuck toes, lift right knee, inhale, left elbow reaches. Feel that beautiful expansion in the chest. As you exhale, elbow to elbow crease. One more. Inhale, strong through your right hand as you lift. Good. As you exhale, lower everything down, the right knee, the left hand, like a lizard pose, but with movement. We spin onto the blade edge of our left foot. Our left knee is even spinning out a little to the left. And then exploring some movement here. And finding gratitude here for this moment, for this movement, for your breath. Return your left foot to plant, press both palms into the mat, step back, plank pose. Either knees lowering or just the hips, we slowly lower hips and pelvis towards the mat, chest lifts, up dog variation. From here, either child's pose, knees lower, hips back, or downward facing dog or dolphin for 5 breaths. So to come off the wrists, dolphin or child's pose. If you're in child's pose, you may like to even give the wrists some circles. And coming back to our mantras, I am on the path that is right for me. I am grateful for this moment and everything it offers me. I give myself permission to embrace all sides of me. Nobody is me, and that is my superpower. Take a collective breath, inhale as if we're all in the studio together. Open the mouth, exhale. Meeting us in downward facing dog, the hips lift. However you would like, make your way to the top of your mat. Maybe you're working with some hops. Maybe the tiptoe and the press is what you're focusing on. When you arrive, chair pose is where we will meet. I plan to not have any chair poses today, but let's just throw one in. Hips lower, arms lift. I don't think I've done one all ISO, so it's probably more for me. Heels grounding into the mat, really light in the toes. One breath here, inhale. Hands to heart, straighten the legs as you exhale. That wasn't long. Right foot plants, left leg will send back or go back, lead with your heel. Bend your right knee a little or a lot, chest forward, warrior 3, arms wherever you would like them. Can you find that neutral hip and pelvic alignment? So left hip is facing down towards the mat. Imagine the back of your left foot pressing against a wall. One more breath here. Your right glute should be doing a lot. Bend your right leg, lower left toes down as we inhale, we'll lift, crescent lunge. And feel free to set yourself up here, shift and settle your hips. And resync your breath. We're going to inhale, arms lift, straighten both legs. As we exhale, arrowhead, lean forward, arms behind you. 2 more like that. Inhale, straighten the legs, arms lift. Exhale, bend and lean forward. 1 more, you've got this. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lean. Inhale, lift and open it up to warrior 2. Right arm forward, left arm back. And again, shift the hips, make this feel stable and supported. And can you find activity in the legs? And really starting to ground down through right heel, right inner thigh spins up towards the ceiling and your right glute wraps down to the floor. Take 1 more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straighten both legs, arms lift. Turn all 10 toes to face the left or towards the screen or me, although we're all facing different ways. Now warrior 2 at the back of the mat. Left foot starts to face the back of the mat. Extend your arms. Good. And don't worry if you can't see, I'll guide you through. Our left forearm is going to find our left thigh like side angle, but a supported side angle here. We're going to keep this engagement of the arm on the thigh, but strong through our left leg. So we're anchoring down through ball of the left foot and the heel. Right hand will cradle the back of our skull. I said skull, but I mean skull. Inhale, we open our right elbow up and towards the ceiling, maybe behind. And as we exhale, we come across towards our left thigh. 2 more like that. Inhale. Notice where you feel expansion here. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, as we open, we're going to lift all the way up and straighten both legs. Turn all 10 toes to face in. And then warrior two back towards the front of the mat. Right forearm now will find our thigh, and we take traditional side angle as the left arm reaches up and over. And if you would like to find any extension of the arms, maybe on the inside of the leg, maybe to a block, go for it. And like we've been finding throughout the class, feel this beautiful expansion through the sides of our ribs. But also, can you spin your bottom right ribs up towards the ceiling, so we create space here. And begin to now rotate all the way down towards the mat so that our left hand begins to plant down on the mat. Right arm will lift up towards the ceiling, our simple twist. Good. Now either stay here or lower your back knee, or begin to spin all 10 toes out towards the right side of the mat. You may need to shift right foot a little. Cleopatra pose. Feel free to begin with your left hip down at the mat or stay here. Take a breath in, maybe lift the hips and sweeping right arm up and over the head. As you breathe out, hips may lower, arm extends to the back. Feel free to stay here on the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one, we inhale, we lift, and then go ahead and bring right hand towards the mat. Step straight back towards downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Find and center your breath. Take a breath in, plank pose. Hips and knees, or just the hips, lower towards the mat, up dog variation. Take it all the way back, downward facing dog with control. When you arrive, one breath there, inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. Make your way to the top of the mat. When you arrive, hips lower, arms lift, chair pose. This is our second last chair pose. I've decided to throw one more in after this. Can you find a little more lowering of the hips, but expansion and lift in the chest? Imagine your arms are reaching over the top of the head. You've put some Cadbury marble chocolate in the top pantry, and you really need to reach it. One more breath in and out. Hands to the chest, press through the feet, straighten up, stand up. Weight in the left foot, right foot lifts. Warrior three, lead with your right heel, bend your left knee. Chest towards the mat. Right hip in line with the left. And if this is challenging, give yourself permission to embrace everything that is here and now. Start to bend your left leg, lower right toes, arms lift, crescent lunge. Adjust and settle your legs and your hips. Find this position that feels stable and supported. We're going to take a breath in, straighten the legs, lift the arms. As we exhale, arrowhead, chest forward, arms back. Inhale, straighten and lift. Exhale, arrowhead. Can you find a little more length? Last one, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we lift and open, warrior two. Again, set your hips, your pelvis. And feel free to really turn the hips to face about 10 o'clock, if that feels a little more supportive. And active through our legs, making sure that back leg is straight. avoiding the urge to bow and bend the back knee. Take a breath in, straighten the legs, turn all 10 toes towards the right, and then warrior 2 at the back of your mat. Good. From here, supported side angle, right forearm, right thigh. And just find this shape, set the feet, set the legs, then left hand behind the back of the skull. Take a breath in as you open left elbow up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bring that left elbow towards your right thigh or knee. Inhale, lead with that elbow strong through right foot, open. Exhale, close. One more, you've got this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we'll open it up, we'll straighten through the legs, arms lift, turn all 10 toes back in, turn to warrior 2 at the back of the front of the mat again, and lead into our side angle now. Either stay supported, reaching right arm over the top of the head, or maybe taking left hand down on the inside of your left leg, maybe to a block. And here, can you focus on the length we've now created from the outer edge of our right foot all the way up the outer seam of the leg, the right hip, rib, armpit. And as we reach with our right pinky fingers, we have more space there. One more breath here, inhale. Start to windmill your right hand down towards the mat. Simple twist as the hips face the front of the mat, left arm reaches to the ceiling. Either stay here or lower your right knee for support. Otherwise, turn all 10 toes out to the left. Maybe shift your left foot back a little. Cleopatra pose, the hips can land on the mat. I find I have to really bring my left foot almost in line with my right thigh, so don't feel like you have to stay in the position you've landed. Right palm anchors. As we inhale, we lift the hips, we lift the left hand. Feel free to take your sweeping movements from your simple twist. As you exhale, hips lower, arm returns to the back. Good. One more inhale, we lift. And our hips will return. Last one to return to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift left hand. Start to plant it on the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Movement as you arrive. Now, option from here is to either take your final, if you're craving a traditional chaturanga, go for it, or taking your final plank to up dog variation as we inhale, shift forward plank pose. Exhale, hips lower towards the mat with control. And from there, we'll lift all the way back up towards downward facing dog. And begin to tiptoe your way to the front of the mat once again. Take it slow, there is no rush. I promise you our final chair pose as the hips lower towards the mat. The arms lift. And can you find a steadiness here? A calm breath. And somehow, even in chair pose, can you find gratitude for the amazing ways the body can move and support you? Take one more breath here. Start to now bring the hands beside you, lifting up to lift the heels off the mat. We're going to balance here just for a couple of breaths. Either hands stay beside you or take them behind the skull to interlace. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the heels, Start to now lower all the way down towards the mat. We bend the knees, arms reach out in front of us. We're going to eventually come and sit down. So there does not have to be grace to do this. We're all landing in the same spot on our bottom. I did see grace through that screen though. I saw the most graceful exit just then. I won't name names, but I loved it. Now from here, I want you to go ahead and take your palms to the fronts of your knees. I'm going to do a seated cat-cow as the feet plant into the mat. Take an inhale, chest and belly, pull through the thigh. Exhale, press and round the spine. Take the gaze in towards the navel, maybe leaning back. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Regulating the breath again. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to return to a seat and bring both our palms just beside our hips. We're going to do a seated figure 4. If this is a little much for you, we can do this on our backs. So feel free to come down onto your backs to do this. We're going to place our left ankle above our right knee. And the hands, the further back they are, the more gentle this will be on your hips. And if you face your palms to the back of the mat, this will be gentler on your wrists. Now you might like to stay here in stillness, and this might be more than enough. Or maybe bringing some movement of the hips side to side. And if you want to really find a little more in the hips, walk your hands closer towards you. Bring the chest forward and you'll find particularly your left outer hip and glute. Now, there's no right or wrong here. It's just whatever feels nice in your body. So feel free to explore movement or stillness. Maybe closing down the eyes. Just giving yourself permission to explore. Take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Start to straighten your front leg or your right leg out. If you're on your back, you can sit back up with us. And our right foot will be crossed over our right leg. And we're going to take our right elbow and hook it over our right knee so that our left hand may just rest near the chest. Left fingertips come behind us. Use the leverage of right elbow and knee to really lift and lengthen your spine as you now start to twist and rotate towards the left side. And here with the activation I'm getting from my right forearm, having to support the knee, I actually find a lot of opening here around my right shoulder blade and rib cage area, as well as the twist and rotation we're getting in the thoracic spine. Taking 2 more breaths here as we inhale and exhale. 1 more. Begin to rotate back towards the front as our left leg extends and our legs both straighten out. Give them a little shuffle. Excuse me. And then we'll bend our right legs, both legs, back in again, and bring our palms to come behind us again. And we'll take a reverse tabletop. This can be really gentle, or you can come into your full expression. Up to you whether you like to have the wrists facing back or towards your feet. Just be mindful of the wrist extension and how it feels. Press through your feet as you inhale, lift the hips. Maybe the hips and knees are in line. If this feels supported, the head can gently rest back. Either stay for 2 more breaths or slowly lower to bring yourself out. Slowly allow the hips to come down and sweep back in. Give the wrists a little bit of a shake. And now setting yourself up, our reclined figure 4, right ankle above the left thigh. And explore different positions with your hands, with your chest. Maybe movement to begin and then finding a place to settle. Awareness to our right glute, our right outer hip. And 2 more breaths here. And starting to straighten your left leg. Right foot will now hook over your left thigh. And grabbing your left elbow and hooking it over the front of your left knee. Right fingertips come behind. Use the fingertips to lift and lengthen your spine, but also focusing on what we achieve by hooking the elbow, perhaps a little bit more space around our left shoulder blade. Find 2 of your breaths here. Slowly begin to unravel. And allow both legs to now extend long. If you would like to take another reverse tabletop with the legs bent, go for it. If you'd like to do it with the legs straight, you can, and we'll point our toes towards the mat. I encourage you to try it with the palms sort of turned out a little. If you know your preferred wrist preference for this, please go for it. You may need to troubleshoot. Again, we press through the hands, we lift our hips, and our toes point down towards the mat, or we have our bent knees. If they're there, 2 more breaths. With as much control as you lifted, lowering down. And we will all land on our back. So take your time, bring your props, your blankets, your clothes with you. And come and meet down on your back. We'll come straight into a happy baby, either still or with movement. Maybe straightening the legs out. And final chances to explore movement in your body this morning. And go ahead and bring now both knees in towards your chest and start to roll your low back along the mat from side to side, giving it a little massage. Maybe taking circles of your hips. Allowing your legs to now extend, but keeping the feet planted and the knees bent. Both hands will come beside us so you can just graze the backs of your heels. I'm going to take 3 rounds of rolling bridge, really slow, really mindfully, and really connected to our breath. We'll press the weight into the feet. Take a collective breath in. Stay for your exhale. As we inhale, press through the feet, lift the hips and the hands at the same time. Our arms come above our head. A long, slow breath out from the top of our spine. We roll back down, hands follow. 2 more. Can you take it even slower and longer with your breath? Your inhale leads you up and back. And your exhale lands your hips and hands with control. 1 more. Long breath out leads you back down. Begin to now straighten your legs out as you set yourself for Shavasana. If you would like to take a seated Shavasana today, please feel free. Allowing the body to find a position of comfort and support once again. Coming to a place of awareness of how the body is now feeling. The state of your breath. Using the breath now merely as a tool to keep you grounded and connected. Carefully bringing both hands to your belly to continue to find awareness of your breath here. Noticing the rise and fall, the contraction and expansion. Shifting left palm up towards your chest, heart space. As you connect deeply to yourself. And so we try to remove comparison and find this place of love and self-compassion. And coming back to our 4 mantras. I am on the path that is right for me. I am grateful for this moment and everything it offers me. I give myself permission to embrace all sides of me. Nobody is me, and that is my superpower. Bringing both hands back to heart space. Go ahead and take a long breath in, fill up. Open the mouth, exhale. A couple more like that. You are more than welcome to finish in a reclined position and leave us from here. Otherwise, feel free to make your way up to a comfortable seat once again. Be kind to the body with your movements. Wherever you are, connecting both hands to Anjali Mudra as the chin bows towards the chest. And taking this moment to truly thank yourself for practicing this morning, for dedicating this time to yourself. I hope you all have a beautiful day and week ahead. From my heart to yours, thank you. Thank you so much, yogis. Good morning. It's lovely to see you all. I've missed you all.